Hello guys, my name is Bill Peppard. I am your physics instructor for this semester for Conceptual Physics 111. So this video is to help you understand what you need to be successful in the course. So I'll talk about several different things. So let me switch over to share my screen so you can see what I'm displaying. All right, so this is Physics 111, Section 202, Conceptual Physics. Again, my name is William Peppard, but I go by Bill. So kind of overview of this video, I'm gonna give you a quick welcome and introduction. That's the first part. Then we'll actually get into kind of the class information. So I'll take you to D2L, show you where you can find things. We'll go through the class policies, just a general overview of D2L. Probably a lot of you guys are familiar with it. Mastering Physics, which is the online homework that's associated with the textbook. I'll also talk about purchasing the textbook. And then once we kind of get through all that information, I'll talk to you about keys on how you can be successful in this course. So first, I'll just talk about myself a little bit. So again, I said my name's Bill. I teach physics here at Del Tech. I have a degree in physics from Rowan University. I also have a degree in mathematics there and education. I got my master's in education at Wilmington University. A little personal information about myself. I'm 48 years old. I'm married for 25 of those years, so we had a good anniversary this year, a big one. I have two older children, so they're both seniors. One's in college and one's in high school. We have two cats. So this cat here, that's Ziggy, and this cat is Rachel. And for me, I personally support Liverpool Football Club. They won the Premier League last year. So if you wanted to message me about that, you could, if you like a different team, whatever. So just a little bit about me, so you know what I'm about. Some more information about what the class is. So like you're taking a physics class and you might not be sure what it's about. So a lot of times people are a little unsure about physics. They have seen the Big Bang Theory or know some other ideas about like Einstein, and they think you have to be a genius to understand physics. And that is not true. So if you have been successful in other science and math classes in the past, then you should be successful in physics. So physics, the idea of physics is just to be able to explain the physical world. And usually in describing it, we use mathematics to kind of quantify values to describe how they are in comparison to other values. So that's what physics is about. Kind of taking you to D2L. So this is what your D2L homepage should look like. So just kind of going back one step. So when I pull up my Del Tech account, when I log in, you guys are 111-202. This should be what pops up on your screen. So the first thing here is the instructor and contact information. Again, the best way to get a hold of me, this is one of the most important things in the video, is through email. So it's right there. You can just click that link and create an email, or it's just wpeppard@dtcc.edu. All my classes are at the Owens Georgetown campus in the Jason Technology Center, and I'm in room 117B. So if you happen to be on campus for some of your time and you wanted to come see me in person, you could. So just kind of going through my classes. So I teach Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The times are here. And then your online classes continue throughout the week. So we don't have any set meetings when we have Zooms or times, but you're expected to be kind of progressing through the course at your own pace according to the schedule and completing assignments along the way. So I have designated student hours between 8 and 10 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays on campus. If you need to contact me at some other point in time, I try to kind of interact with students between 8 and 3:30. So if you need something in that time, you can reach out. We can set up an appointment. Again, email is the best way to get a hold of me. The calendar over here has important information. So this is kind of assignments that are coming due for upcoming events. I'm just going to close that because there's a lot. Basically is laid out for the whole term. Another important and useful tool that you're going to get every week is an announcement. So in those announcements, it has a weekly reminder. So there's a couple announcements that should have been shared with you today, which is August 20th. So the weekly reminder, number one, which is kind of describing what you're doing. You're watching the orientation video right now. There's also some lesson videos for week 1, which starts on the 25th, so you don't have to start early, but you can. So I basically have things laid out by weeks 1 through 15. So August 25th through the 31st is the first week. There are lesson videos. That's me instructing the material, talking about how to understand the physics concepts. So that's the lesson videos. There are also assignments that are associated with it. So usually there's some lab or activity where you're going to be completing some ideas. All of our due dates are going to be on Sunday nights at 11:59 p.m. So the first week ends on 8:31. So that's when these assignments are due. Again, if you ever have a question, just reach out. Email is, again, the best way to hold me. If you want to look at the topics and schedules for the whole semester, it is here, so you can get a feel for like when is the first test coming due and those kind of ideas. Going to the welcome announcement, which is probably hopefully the first thing you got, or will be the first thing. So it just, again, takes you kind of through this. It tells you, yeah, you should be watching this video. Again, it talks about what the video is about, the course and how it's set up throughout the week. Again, if you send me an email, if it's during the day, I will try to be as responsive as possible. Sometimes I'm in the middle of class, so I can't respond immediately, but if you send me an email, I will try to respond between the hours of 8 and 3. If you're confused, again, just reach out and ask for help. Like, I don't expect you to learn physics all by yourself. That's what I'm getting paid to do, is to help you learn it. So and be successful. So reach out for help. I don't expect you to do it by yourself. Okay. So there's another announcement here about just accessing documents, and that sometimes is a struggle for people because they're logged into their personal Google account instead of their Dell Tech one. So that it'll give you an error message where you don't have access, but you actually do if you get to the right account. Okay. So kind of taking you into D2L and what it's going to look like. So if you go to content here, I'm going to start at getting started. So that's where you found this video. So that's where this is going to be placed. It's going to be down here in this folder. But again, it has like instruction information, course policies, college-wide syllabus. We're going to go through the course policies in a second. It has a schedule page, so you can go and look at the schedule, which is here. Mine's looking a little bit different than yours because I need to change to a student view. So that'll look better. This will be more similar to what you'll see. There we go. So that's the schedule. And then kind of units and what's going on. So each week is laid out by lessons. So lesson 1 is week 1. You just go to the instructor supplemental resources, click on that, and it has all the items you need. So it has the videos, so you just click on that. That's an ed puzzle. If you're not familiar with ed puzzles, they're just videos that you watch that have questions embedded, and they are for a grade. So you want to answer the questions right. You have unlimited amounts of attempts to complete the video. It'll load up once the class starts and people start signing up for it. But it is basically just like, it's a questionnaire video. You can do it as many times as you need to. You can speed up through the videos. You can play them at a higher speed. You can try it as many times as you want. But it's for a small grade that filters into your home. Underneath the materials, again, peppered supplemental materials, that's me. You have your lessons. So the documents that go along with the notes. So I would suggest if you have access to a printer, printing these out so you can kind of complete the work on the paper and practice in person. Or if you have some sort of tablet or computer where you can notate on things, you can use that as well. But these handouts or documents align with the videos. Okay? And then under the labs, there are your activities that you're going to be completed. So timing challenge video, that's like me talking through what you need to do in the timing challenge, the link to it, and then how you submit, which is basically you take a screenshot, or if you have multiple items that need to have like things, you'll take screenshots and then upload them into a Google Doc or a Word doc or a PDF so that it's all in one file and it's easier to access, and then you submit it. Okay, so there's a couple assignments that are coming due in that first week. Also, it's important that you do some of the work in the first week or so that you don't get dropped from the class. So I would say ed puzzle videos count as assignments because it's for a score. Timing the online challenges. If you did one of the mastering physics homeworks, you can start working on those. That counts. But you want to make sure you're completing something so that you get credit for attending the class. So you're not going to get dropped for not showing up to the class. Okay. So lesson 1 setup, lesson 2 same kind of setup. You click on the supplemental materials. There's the videos. There's all the documents. There's some answer keys to some extra practice. Again, videos of me explaining what to do, the actual link to the online simulation activity, and then where you submit that activity. Eventually we'll get to tests. So week 3, I believe, is the first test. So again, video, that's probably the review, yep. So lesson notes, kind of finishing up the unit on motion, the test review document, answers, equation sheet. I will post the test during, at the beginning of week 3. It's due at the end of week 3. So you just got to get it turned in and you'll submit it there. Okay. So that's kind of how it flows throughout the course. The only other place that you might need to go is mastering physics. So if you come down here, mastering physics has all of the homework assignments that you are trying to complete. It will also have a copy of the e-text or the textbook and the study area. So study area is something if you pay extra, and it's a monthly fee, and I don't think you need it, but if you wanted to pay the extra money, you had money from like a scholarship or something that you need to use, you could use that and it gives you access to extra resources. Again, I think my reviews reflect the tests that you're going to be assessed with. So I would say if you can do those reviews, you're good. You don't need to get that, but it's there. The e-text, again, you can use. The homeworks are associated with the textbook, so I will show you that in a second. So you could click on these. Again, what's going to be easier though, probably, if I go back to the beginning of the course here, and I will jump in these weekly reminders, there are links to everything you need. So lesson 1 video, you'll click on that link and it will take you to the lesson 1 video. So you don't necessarily have to go through all this navigating. You just start at your announcement and it'll take you to where you need to go. So close that. If you go to labs, you click there, it takes you to the labs folder in D2L. So it's a little more direct through the announcement, and I would recommend going that way. But if you are kind of going and using the D2L method, that's why I explained it to you. Okay. So I think that'll be fine, and it'll be user friendly. Again, if you have questions, just email me. If we need to set up a Zoom or an in-person face-to-face meeting, I can help you. All right. So let me take you back to a couple things. First off, back in the getting started, there's the course policy. So let's go through that and talk about how you're going to be assessed and what you need to do. So again, talking about the course in general, the college bookstore, there's a link here. There's also one in this folder where you can go and buy the textbook at the bookstore. I would say that you can absolutely do that, and that will get you 100% the right materials. Another way that you can go about it is going through the Pearson publishing source themselves. So like when you click on one of those homework assignments, it should take you and it'll ask you to create an account. I think you have access for 14 days for free. And then after that, it's going to expect that you buy the textbook. In my experience, the textbook is cheaper directly from the publisher and not the bookstore, but maybe you can't use scholarship or funds that you have except at the bookstore. So again, I don't tell people what to do because I'm not supposed to. But if you're looking to save money, the bookstore is not necessarily the cheapest way to go about it. So I will kind of take you through the bookstore and show you where you would find it. And then I'll show you where to look on the Pearson link in a second. So attendance, we don't have any in-person classes, but participating in completing things counts for attendance. Grading, which is really the most important thing that you're going to learn in this document and some other policies, is that 65% of your grade is based on the tests. So you have to do well on the tests. Again, for every test, I will have a review. If you can do the review and you understand what you're doing on the review, you should do fine on the test. Formative assessments are homework and class assignments. So those are your mastering physics homeworks, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And then class assignments are sort of other activities that aren't exactly a lab grade, but they count for completion and doing them correctly. So basically anything else that isn't a lab or categorized as a lab turns into kind of a formative assessment. It's practicing. So, and then labs are the online simulations. Because we don't have an in-person aspect of our class, you have to do your labs online. But you'll be doing the same types of things. So you'll be looking at motion and measuring different characteristics, and then making graphs, analyzing data, all those types of things. So that's fine. You'll be working on that or online instead of in person. Grades break down: 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, and 0 to 69 is an F. So again, your goal is to get an A, B, or C. So exams, there are 4 exams, one for each of the units. Their exams cover text and course material, including some ideas that might be related to labs or activities that we've done. They consist of multiple choice, short answer problems. So writing answers, doing math. You'll see them. It's not too different than probably other exams you take. You cannot take exams. So like you get one shot at exams. When you submit it, that's it. You want to make sure that you turn in all of your exams. This missing exam policy is really for in-person classes. So if you miss an exam, you have that option at the testing center if you're an in-person class, but you're not an in-person class, so I'm going to skip over that. Important information about the final exam. So the final exam is optional. So it replaces your lowest unit exam grade. So if you have good grades on the first exam, second exam, third exam, you messed up the fourth exam, you could take the final exam, which is cumulative, so it covers all the material, and it can replace your lowest test. If you have a 0 on an exam, like you didn't do one, it will replace that one. But it doesn't replace it if you cheat, so don't cheat. For that, if you have really good test scores for all of them, so like say, and I'll try to make you aware of this before you get to the final exam. If you've done well on all your tests, all your other grades are good, you have an A for your average, there's not really any point to take the final exam. It's really just to benefit you. It's not going to bring you down at all, but it can bring you up some. But if you're already at a grade that you are comfortable with and you're good, then you don't have to take it. Formative assessments, we talked about those. Those are your homeworks and other assignments. It's to kind of show that you're trying to practice and learn the material. So it's not as valued as the summatives, which are your exams and your lab assessments. For labs, there's going to be 11 graded labs throughout the semester. Those labs are essentially the same weight, so they're all equally weighted. Your lowest lab score will be dropped. So again, you're not going to miss labs because they're not in person, but if you happen to not turn in a lab, then that lowest one will be dropped. Okay. Again, I will go over assignments with you. I'll have notes on your grades. So like if you just did excellent, you just probably get the score like a 10 out of 10. If there's something that's missing or incorrect, I'll usually take off some points and make a note of it. And sometimes I give you the option to try to fix that and improve it for a score. So I'm okay with that. Late work, just so you know, late work, you're supposed to be penalized daily, 10% for each day it's late. So try to make sure you're meeting all of your deadlines that are outlined on the schedule. Also, I know things happen, life happens. If you reach out to me and let me know what's going on, I can show you a little bit of grace when it comes to completing assignments and getting things turned in exactly on time. So again, I'm a reasonable person. I'm not gonna, I'm not here to penalize you, right? I want to help make you successful. Academic integrity, talked about that, don't cheat. And then if you need some support, the virtual support center, tutoring center is there. But again, I would say I'm the best resource for you if you need help. Okay, so that's the course policies, which you'll find in getting started. I'm going to show you the bookstore because I think that's important, and that'll lead us into piercing. So if you were not on the Wilmington campus, you would select the Owens campus, or Del Tech Owens Fall. You want to pick physics, so scroll down to PHY, that's physics. We are course 111, and you are section 202. All right, so that's all you really need. So you find the material, and this is what it says. So it says you are supposed to get this mastering Modified Mastering Physics with Pearson eText, and it is $193.50 through the bookstore. It is exactly the right material. So if you have some sort of scholarship or money that needs to get used up, I would say just use it through the bookstore and not buy it on your own. It is a rental, so basically you have it for the semester. So you want to make sure that you do well in the class, because if you don't, then you have to repurchase the textbook. So that is one way to get to your text, probably the easiest, most direct. But if you go to Pearson, or I'll just go through Mastering Physics. So I'm going to go back to homepage. That's not the right homepage. Okay. So if I go back to table of contents, and I go to Mastering Physics, the text is probably there because I think it links it, or it might not be, but we'll see. Okay, so it's going to ask you to register. So this is where I would say it's a little bit cheaper, right? So you can, so you would select this option, which is a little bit cheaper than the bookstore. So you click on that. It's not available to register at this time because I think I haven't set up the course to be able to join today, because I wanted to wait until people saw this video. But you want to register that way, that's fine too. So either one of those options, again, I would pick the one that makes the most sense for you and your situation. Okay. So that's Mastering Physics. Let me show you what it looks like from not the student view, so you can kind of get a feel for it. So if I go back to content, go down to Mastering Physics. So it has your homeworks set up. I'll click on this. Mine looks a little bit different because mine is the course that I created for you guys. But essentially, it's going to bring up the homework with the homework assignment. So you're going to click on, say, Reading Check 3.1. There's going to be a question. You pick which one, you hit Submit, and you get an answer. Okay. It'll give you feedback right away. It'll tell you whether it's right or wrong. Again, I try not to limit the number of chances that you have to take it. So I want you to get it right. It's a formative assessment, so you're like practicing until you get it right. Some of them are not just like questions, multiple choice. Some of them are a little bit of math. So it gives you information about a problem. It says, what's the velocity of the ball when it reaches the site? So you would type in a value if you thought it was going 50 miles per hour, meters per second, maybe. You would put that in, and then you hit Submit, and it would say, oh, you got it wrong, you get a red X, try again. If you get it right, which I'll give you the answer to this one, it should be 0. Don't things stop when they get to the highest point. You get it correct, and you get a check, and you move on. You don't have to get every part correct. So like if you mess this one up, you could go down here and do the part B or part C if there's multiple parts. So you don't have to particularly do all of them in order. You can jump around, but I think it should be fairly straightforward how to use the homework. The one thing that I would say is important is you want to make sure you disable pop-up blocker. So you want to, like, it works in pop-ups. So if you look, I click on this and it takes me to another thing, or at least that's how it used to work. So you want to make sure that you can access that. All right. So I think I've covered Mastering Physics and how to buy it. I talked about D2L. We talked about how you're assessed through the policies. So now I'm into the end of the video. So you've hung in here this long. Let me get to the end. So getting into things to be successful. How can you be successful? So the first thing I would say is don't get behind. So I know it's an online class and you don't have a regular meeting time, but try to set a time throughout the week that you set aside for this class. So the videos, I would say there are multiple videos per week that you're going to watch. That's replacing basically class time, lecture time. So if you took this class in person full time, you would meet twice a week for close to 4 hours. So the lesson videos shouldn't be that long. We also do labs in person there, but your videos are going to be, they might be 20 minutes at a time or 30 minutes at a time, and you might have a couple of videos to watch per week. So make sure you allot your time to do that. You get grades for those videos. That's part of the homework, as I suppose. For other things, labs, those activities, that you can build that into your regular schedule, so you're not getting behind. So stay up to date. That's the number one thing. All right. The second thing is make sure you advocate for yourself. So this, as an online class, is very difficult for me to tell how you're doing. So I look at your items that you submit. I can look at your homework grades. I can look at your labs. I can look at your test scores, but I don't really know how well you're understanding the material. So it's up to you to reach out to me if you have questions. So again, I am more than willing to correspond through email or Zooms, or if you come in person in my student hours, that is all good. I want to see you or I want to help you, but I can't help you unless you help yourself by advocating for yourself. So just, when you're confused, when you're not sure about something, you've tried and you still just don't understand it, reach out to me and I can try to explain it in a way that maybe clicks once we talk. So the last thing I would say is get a study partner or a friend. So if you know somebody else in the class, I think that's a really useful skill. If you don't know somebody in the class, I can try to connect people. I won't give out your email unless you ask me to with other people, but I think having other people to bounce ideas off of or to talk about besides me is sometimes helpful. So students are sometimes intimidated by their teachers. I don't think you should be intimidated by me. I might look scary, but I'm not that scary. I'm a fairly reasonable, straightforward person, and I want you to be successful. So, but if your friend understands it and they can help you figure it out, go for it. I'm not the only person who can teach you physics, right? I will say I am your best resource when preparing for tests because I know what's on the test. I have made the tests. I build the reviews so that it's similar to the test. So I wouldn't just go randomly searching YouTube videos, watch my videos, watch the reviews, participate, do the things. You got to do the activities, right? So that's what I would say you should try to do. Okay. So let me let you go here because we're approaching the 30-minute mark and that's a long time to watch a video, but hopefully you can speed it up a little bit. So have a great semester, guys. Reach out when you need help. And I want you to be successful. That's my job. So let me help you. All right. Have a great one.